Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Toast. And those rumors for a Nintendo Direct just will not die. Just one day after talking about how Nintendo basically killed all hope for a June Nintendo Direct, which still remains, but here we are now, and yet another rumor is going around that a soonish Direct will actually be taking place. So we are going to talk about that today, and then also a leak going around that could point to a pretty big Xbox showcase announcement. This game has been in the rumor mill for quite some time, but yeah, based on some new information, it looks like that announcement is incoming, possibly at either the Summer Game Fest or the Xbox showcase, as is currently rumored. As always, though, if you all do find yourself enjoying the video, do hit those buttons below, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. But other than that, let's just go and jump right into things, starting off with Sonic Origins Plus. Sonic Origins Plus is essentially a physical re-release of a digital collection that Sega released just last year that will also come with some additional content. On top of the Sonic 1 through 3 that we got prior, Amy will now be a playable character, which is pretty cool alone, but even better, it also comes with various Sega Game Gear titles. The big problem here, though, is that it's now been discovered that the physical release actually won't come with all this extra content on discs. They're basically just going to release it with Sonic 1 through 3, and then all the extra content will be included as a digital code. Now, that is very unfortunate because that kind of defeats the purpose of a physical release. Now, if you still want those original titles on a disc, that you can still buy it for that reason. But if you were hoping to get every single piece of content on a disc, it's just not going to be that. And you have to wonder why they would go in this direction. It's not like these are big games. They can easily fit on the disc themselves. We have seen this before, but this right now is the problem with physical media. Capcom just last year, they did something very similar with Resident Evil Village Gold. That game also released without the extra content on disc, and this is really just one of the numerous issues that physical media currently faces. I mean, there's been occasions where certain games haven't even launched on disc at all. Look at something like Halo Infinite as an example. Or you could just kind of bring up day one updates or the various updates that comes after launch. It is very rare anymore for games to be completely 100% finished on disc at launch anymore. But you know, games like Sonic Origins Plus, I think it just really adds even more issues to physical media, and I think just unnecessarily so, which is the main issue here. Let me know what you all think about this, though. If you are a physical collector, does it bother you when companies include digital codes like this rather than including them on the disc? Now, we also got an update for the much-rumored Western Digital Xbox expansion cards. These leaked a few months back, but they are now official, and as expected, they come at a more affordable price than what Seagate previously offered. Western Digital's new cards come in at $80 for their 500GB option, and then $150 for 1 terabyte. That's kind of the thing here, though, because Seagate has since dropped the price of their own options as well to match these offers, which was not some convenient accident. With that leak going around so early, they clearly were preparing to match Western Digital's expansion cards, and that really is the big news here. As I always like to say, competition breeds excellence, and in this case, it really shows the importance to consumers on why companies need more competition. It drives them to give better offers to fans, to improve their quality, and to match or undercut prices as we're seeing here. More or less, it basically keeps them from taking advantage of fans being the only option on the market or just a completely dominant option on the market. So as a fan, it's great to see the Western Digital Xbox expansion card become a reality, and this really is just the beginning of giving fans a more affordable and healthy market. We could still see these prices get even lower over time as more companies come into the fold, and as the holidays come in as well, it'll also be interesting to see what kind of offers each company gives fans to entice them to their specific card over the competition. Now, we also got some pretty cool DLC to talk about that I think several of you will be happy about, and that's for none other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. If that game isn't already good enough as is, well, they just revealed its Dimension Shell Shock DLC where the Turtles will go through time and space to fight off completely new threats. Even better here, though, is that this new DLC comes with a new playable character, a crossover character actually being Usagi Yojimbo. Now, if you don't know who that is, which, I mean, I personally didn't myself, but it's apparently a character from a different comic book series that's been around since the 1980s. Though, from my understanding, Usagi has appeared in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on various occasions since that time, so some of you TMNT fans might recognize him immediately. Whatever the case may be, though, a new playable character is always welcome, and this really just means even more content for Shredder's Revenge when its DLC drops later this year at currently an undefined date. I'll tell you this much though, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is having a pretty good time in the game industry right now with this game, which is great as is. You know, you have the DLC coming, and also The Last Ronin when that game eventually releases. I do like the premise of that one specifically. Okay, so let's go talk about this rumored Nintendo Direct, though. This has kind of been a wild ride over the last few weeks. This is that time of the year where expected showcases are supposed to happen. PlayStation dropped their showcase last month. We have the Summer Game Fest tomorrow. We have the Xbox showcase coming up. Capcom and Ubisoft, they're doing their own thing. And it just feels like the gamers' holiday is live and well. Fun times ahead. The only issue here, though, is what about Nintendo? Are they going to do anything themselves? Fans right now are craving to know what's coming after Pikmin 4. Their first-party Nintendo Switch lineup is nothing short of mysterious as of this moment. I mean, technically, Metroid Prime 4 is still a possibility eventually, though I firmly believe that game will more than likely be pushed into their next generation. That's for a different topic, but still, at the very least, what about this holiday? Is Nintendo going to reveal games anytime soon, or are they just going to have this big gap between now and the eventual Switch successor? So yeah, obviously, fans want a Nintendo Direct to get those answers. But as we talked about yesterday, Nintendo Direct yesterday was trending shortly on Twitter because Nintendo basically killed any hope that was left. On top of just randomly revealing their pastel Joy-Cons and everybody won to Switch last week, well, now they also dropped a random trailer for Pikmin 4. Some fans believe that that was the final nail in the coffin that a Nintendo Direct would happen this June, because some fans did believe that if a Direct was coming, Pikmin 4 was going to be a part of that. So yeah, fans have now lost hope for a June Direct. But hang on, Jeff Grubb, grubby old leaky Jeff, got his grubby little mitts on a new rumor. Yes, he's giving Nintendo fans a little bit more hope, because on an episode of the Giant Bombcast, he revealed that he's hearing quote-unquote early rumblings of a July Nintendo Direct. So, not June, but possibly July. So, there you go. Hope is alive and well after all. Now, before you get too excited, though, I'm going to go ahead and temper expectations, because he also noted that he doesn't know what type of Direct it'll be. It could technically be a mini Direct, a partner showcase, maybe an indie world showcase, or even a specific game-focused Direct like Pikmin 4, as an example. So there's nothing really concrete about this information. It is also still just a rumor for the time being, too, so I mean, you do have to keep that in mind. But for right now, he's just simply stating some vague information that he's heard behind the scenes. Take it as a rumor and nothing more. But I will just go ahead and speak for myself here. I do hope what he's heard is indeed correct, and I hope it is a general Direct. I predicted a September Direct myself, but I would love to be wrong, because I would prefer July. I want to know what Nintendo has in store myself. I mean, it's strange to think that we really don't know anything beyond Pikmin 4, which releases next month in July. I mean, we have been hearing some different rumors about different games, especially GameCube releases, but we don't have any confirmations yet. There's rumors of a Paper Mario Thousand Year Door return. We've heard about F-Zero GX, and this is probably more hopeful from fans than anything else, but a Zelda Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD re-release. Now, these might not necessarily be massive, completely new releases, but if any of these do get confirmed, it could help tide fans over until next year, when we hopefully get that Switch successor. I'm still crossing my fingers for that one. But either way, just going to take this rumor with a grain of salt for the time being. But let me know what you all think about it. Do you think Nintendo will drop a Direct this July? And if so, will it be a general Direct or something a bit smaller? Now, speaking of showcases, though, we got a new interesting development regarding a game that's been highly rumored to be announced at the upcoming Xbox showcase, the Persona 3 Remake. So what's happening here is that it's been spotted that the P3RE, aka the Persona 3 Remake website, received a domain update. Now, that might not necessarily sound like a big deal, but historically, when it comes to Atlus games, it very much is, because several times in the past, they've updated their domains just before making an announcement. This includes with Persona Q2, Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight, and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, Catherine Full Body, and Persona 5 Royal. All of these games received a domain update just before an announcement was made. So on top of all of those rumors that Persona 3 Remake will make an appearance at the Xbox Showcase, I mean, with this domain update here, this actually is a very good indication that, yes, it could possibly be coming, and I mean, very possibly within the next 4 days. If not at the Xbox Showcase, as currently rumored, it could happen as early as tomorrow at the Summer Game Fest. I think my only thing about this announcement, though, is that if it does indeed happen, I mean, it's a great game and everything, but it's also just kind of more evidence in how strange Atlus is as a company. So let's just kind of hypothetically say that this game does get announced. Well, why did Atlus re-release the original Persona 3 just earlier this year? Doesn't that seem kind of counterproductive? I don't know. Atlus is just such a strange company, but that's also all the more reason that I'm curious as to what this remake will actually include. It would maybe make sense if there was some big changes involved rather than it just being a simple makeover, but you know, I guess by all indications, we won't have to wait too long to find out for ourselves. It really is starting to sound like where will this game be announced rather than if. Interestingly enough, though, there is a little bit more to this story because this isn't the only domain to get an update, because P5T also received an update after being registered back in May. This is the much-rumored Persona 5 spinoff that we keep hearing about. So, if anything, you Persona fans out there, you might want to go ahead and keep your eyes peeled, because this week could possibly be extra interesting for you. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, where I asked you all, without seeing gameplay, would you be interested in a Final Fantasy IX remake? This has been in a rumor mill for quite some time, and it is looking more real than ever, and it does appear a good portion of you all absolutely would be on board for a remake, as 37% of you voted yes, while 54% said no. So that's actually a pretty good outcome here. Now I understand that some people are a little bit tired of remakes, and okay, I completely understand that, but as I've said time and time again on this channel, I myself do enjoy remakes. Games like Final Fantasy IX are listed as some of the all-time greats for a reason, and when developers put the time into making a quality remake, not only does it make people happy who played the original, but it also appeals to a completely new audience that never played the original. I am, however, a little curious about Final Fantasy IX, though. It has such a unique art style, so I do kind of wonder how they'll adapt that to a more modern style, but even more so, and this was brought up by Izkai Nabukari, which said, so long as the combat is real-time. I didn't really think about that prior to this, but now that you mention it, I do kind of wonder if they'll go more in that action direction like we've seen in modern Final Fantasy games. I think one thing that they could do, though, is what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I feel like its combat is a good mix of classic gameplay, but with those action elements as well. Whatever happens, though, I'm in the yes group here. Final Fantasy IX is a great game. There are a few Final Fantasy entries that I like a bit better, but I'd say the Final Fantasy IX is definitely near the top echelon of Final Fantasy games. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell the notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.